The only thing stopping other real estate folks from utilizing social media is their own concern of, oh, what's somebody going to say or what have you.
Oh, please. In our business, it is profoundly impactful. I closed my biggest deal on last Friday, sourced from social media, a couple bucks short of 10 million.
I love hearing that.
It's real. It is so real, your head would spin. The reality is, when you put a video on the internet and then you put your head down on your pillow to sleep at night, that video is still working for you. You know, everybody wants to hear this story about how you started from nothing. And in commercial real estate, it's very, very common to start from your family business. And that doesn't mean that you didn't work or learn to get to where you are today. So say I wanted to be an industrial developer like you. What would you do to start as an industrial developer in 2025?
Yeah, I think it's like anything else. Nothing happens overnight, okay? And so to get into the industrial space or any space within the development world for real estate, there's many different places you could start. I mean, if you wanted to be a developer, I often say to start in the banking world and learn finance, because it's all about finance and it's all about what kind of debt and what kind of payment terms you can get on your deal. That ultimately drives everything. Secondly, you could start as a broker. Obviously, there's plenty of skills within brokerage. But I think the most important aspect, and I don't care what field you're looking to get into, is that when you get into it, you have to think about the value that you ultimately can provide versus what you can receive. And so if you're a broker and the idea is to go out there and list land deals or to make a commission on selling land, or, perhaps you're, selling office space, or perhaps you're a tenant rep broker where you're helping somebody find their office space. It's easier said than done, but if you don't focus so much on the fee, but you focus on the service provided, you focus on the client, you focus on the needs of what they want, things start to just fall into place. It's the same thing with development. Instead of just focusing on, well, what can we make? How much money can we make on this deal? What about focusing on the needs of the city? What about focusing on what they want? What about focusing on how we can bring jobs to the city and how this development is going to improve the community? So when you think from that lens, opportunities start to come your way. So if you want to get into industrial development, you obviously need to learn the ropes. I think a great way to do that is in banking, understanding finance, certainly in brokerage, understanding the way real estate works, certainly shadowing with people that have done it before you and following their lead. But at the end of the day, have some values and care about what you're offering versus what you can get.
The more you give, the more you get.
It's true.
So we connected because you have recently made a splash online, taking your presence to the web. What inspired you to finally hop on and start sharing your story?
Yeah, it's a good question. I ask myself that all the time. Our father was a real pioneer, and he was a great mentor and teacher. And he always used to tell us about the real estate business being a thinking man's game. And that if you're not thinking of what's coming, and if you're not constantly evolving, you're getting passed up. And so when you look at the influence of social media, you can't deny it, right? Now we can all talk about how it drives us crazy and it's, the demise of society and everybody's in their phones and everything else. Well, that's the duality of our existence. Everything can be good and everything can be bad, and it depends on how you use it. A glass of wine might be really relaxing. You drink 3 bottles, you might end up in a gutter. So I look at the same thing for social, okay? And I feel it's an opportunity to brand yourself and market yourself to a different audience and to an expansive audience. In the real estate space, we're always going to different conferences. And you'll sponsor that conference for one reason. So your name and your consign can go up, right? So that when the brokers think about doing a deal, they think of you. Well, if you have access, you do one post or, a reel, and 10,000 people or 50,000, 100,000 people or something can go look and view that. just by 2 seconds, click of a button. The only thing stopping other real estate folks from utilizing social media is their own concern of, oh, what's somebody going to say or what have you. So for me, it was really just about that. It was, look, this is another way to market ourselves. This is another way to brand yourself. You create a community. You can spread your message that you hope is a positive one to have an impact on others. And, you can use it for a lot of different things. So that's why I decided to dive into it. But I'd say that was influenced by our father, because he was a guy, I remember Dad he passed, and I guess he was 93 years old. But my gosh, Dad must have been 90. And he had his cell phone, and he was insistent on texting and knowing how that worked and everything else. Like he refused to let the times pass him by. And he was a lifelong learner. So I was kind of a dinosaur with social, still am, but I learn every day. So I decided to dive in.
Oh, please. In our business, it is profoundly impactful.
Yeah.
And we are just starting to really
tap into it.
Starting
Exactly.
figure it out.
I know.
I closed my biggest deal on last Friday, sourced from social media, a couple bucks short of 10 million.
I love hearing that.
It's real. It is so real, your head would spin.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm with you on that. I think it seems like our space, the real estate space, we're slow to get on board with different things. I don't know if it's just, we're all just very traditional or stuck in our ways or what with things. I don't know. And by the way, I'm not knocking. I'm talking about myself, our company as well. Like, it just seems to be the nature of anybody in real estate. We're slow to jump onto these things. But I do believe we're just touching the surface. And I think the same thing with AI technology for any industry, right? But I think the same thing for us in real estate. Like, there are so many different ways that AI can help us. I think we're just touching the surface to learn that. So, but it's really encouraging to hear that. I love hearing that you close that deal all through social.
The reality is that when you put a video on the internet and then you put your head down on your pillow to sleep at night, that video is still working for you, right? It's like Uber networking and compound interest combined. You make a video, you go to sleep, but people are watching it, consuming you. They start to figure out who you are. They trust you, right? And authenticity is real, and people can sniff you out on the internet. That is real.
They sure can.
All of it to say, if they feel you're authentic, and you provide a value to the person on the other side, your videos will work overtime for you when you don't have to be at that networking event.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
well said.
It's extremely powerful.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So keep going. I know you are rolling out the legacy-driven deal-making course.
I am.
Tell me about that.
Tool for social. Yeah. Well, we for all of our real estate transactions prior to 2015, we did it just with our own capital, our own money, friends and family and that sort of thing, and we had to, I always say this, my brothers and I were very blessed to be able to walk into a business that was already established. You talk about self-made. We're the furthest thing from self-made. Our father was a self-made man. And what's funny is that when you ask him how he got to where he was in his career, how he accomplished what he did in his lifetime, coming from very humble beginnings, an immigrant from Italy, very, very little financial means of any kind. He never called himself a self-made man. He said the reason he was able to do what he did was because of the love his father had for him and the belief his father had in him, which in turn gave him a belief in himself. And so he knew all he could do is believe in himself, and he always felt he was going to make it no matter what. He didn't even know how. And he knew that if he didn't have the education, because oftentimes he was far out educated from his competition, if he didn't have the education, he knew he had one thing: he could outwork his competition. And then the only other thing is he kept his word. But anyways, his legacy is essentially what keeps us rolling. And then ultimately we create our own legacy by building upon what he started. And one of the ways that we decided to build on what he started was to start forming capital partnerships with institutional capital. these sovereign wealth funds, pension fund advisors, endowment funds, and groups manage that kind of money. They're all over the place. Goldman Sachs, Invesco, Fortress, their real estate investment trusts, REITs, public companies, private companies. And so we felt the only way to get us to the next level would be to partner up with those type of groups on the equity side, not on the debt side. And in 2015, that's what we did. And we did a joint venture with Goldman Sachs. It was after about 3 years of myself and my one brother going around all over the country, getting told no over and over and over, just selling ourselves, talking about who we are, our track record. And we were finally able to do a deal with Goldman Sachs. We got lucky, but we had no idea what we were doing. We had no idea how to structure the joint venture. There was this whole waterfall schedule and a promoted interest and a carried interest. Had no idea what any of that was. No idea what fees we could charge, what a sponsor meant, what a managing partner meant within the deal. And we structured it. And from that point, we ended up doing, to this day, we've done, I think, 33 joint ventures. We've deployed close to $1 billion in limited partner money. And we've done, billions and billions of dollars of real estate. Right now, our pipeline is almost 60 million square feet. Combined total is about $9.8 billion. Would have never, ever, ever done that without the partners that we have. And we've been fortunate to have really awesome partners. And so this course is about how to do that. How to structure your real estate deal in a way that is optically attractive to an institutional partner. How to structure yourself and market yourself in a way that is attractive to them. How to handle that first phone call when you get on the phone with them. How to market the deal, how to market you, what's important to them, what markets they look for. And I talk on industrial, but I also cover some things in retail. But the bottom line is it's not specific to any one industry. It's more about how you talk the talk, what they look for from a pro forma standpoint, what's important to them. Is it IRR? Is it equity multiple? Is it yield on cost? How do they calculate it? We go through a lot of different waterfalls. We literally give all of the waterfalls that we've ever done where someone could take that waterfall structure and go apply it to a deal themselves. So, I can't promise that someone that takes that course is going to go out now and raise a bunch of money with institutional capital, but I can tell you this, they'll be extremely well equipped. And the other thing I'm going to do with that is have a monthly, I might do twice a month call with those that sign up for it, where we just talk shop. We talk, about deals, what institutional groups are looking for. I have some guys call in. One is the president of a public company that's one of our partners, and I talk directly to him of what he looks for. And one of the questions I ask is, hey, look, if you're not a 68-year family business, if you haven't done this before, but you got yourself an awesome deal, what's important to you to partner up with that person? And his answer is pretty cool. So anyways, I did it because when we did it, there was nothing out there. We had to learn the hard way. We've essentially taken, the 10 plus years we've been doing this and put it into a course the best I could.
What I always say is I had the privilege of growing up at a dinner table where all we talked about was real estate. And commercial real estate has always been a largely gate-kept industry. Yeah. But the internet has given us the ability to teach people who might have not been, the people who are not as privileged as you or myself, to be at the dinner table with these players. It has just leveled the playing field. And I think overall, it's just badass that you are willing to share your information, because I feel like a lot of people don't want to do that.
Yeah, we thought about that, and it's a good point. And, first of all, I think there is plenty of real estate to go around, okay? And I think that when you approach, like I said at the beginning, about what you can give versus what you can get, I think it's just a rule of life that it comes back tenfold. And genuinely, when I tell you back when we did that joint venture, we had no idea what we're doing. And genuinely, when I tell you there's nothing out there that explains it, I really felt there's a void for that. The other aspect I really thought about is it's an opportunity to build community and to connect with other real estate professionals. Here's the truth. There could be a lot of these folks out there that have great real estate deals, and they may sign up for the course and learn it that way. The other thing they can do, they can reach out to me and say, hey, we need help on this real estate deal. Partner up with us and let's go get some capital to do it. Because I'd say of all the square feet I had mentioned, I don't know if it's 50%, but it's close to half is opportunities that are brought to us from other real estate professionals or people that dabble in the space that have like a great piece of ground tied up, but they need some assistance in getting it finished. And so we end up partnering with them. We form a joint venture agreement, and then we bring our partners to the table and we all do the deal together. So it's frankly another opportunity to find real estate as well. And if we never do, and it's just people take this course and they're able to structure their own JVs and have some great relationships, and I got something to do with that, I'd say that's pretty good karma as well.
Love it. I'm excited to see it come out and to see how it unfolds for you. Now,
Thank you.
for the moment all the listeners are waiting for, what is your commercial real estate secret?
It's not, my commercial real estate secret is not sexy at all. I think the secret is what I said at the very beginning. Think about what value you can bring, not what you can get. And that can be as easy as if you have a deal and you're looking for a partner and you want that partner on your deal, right? Well, if you're thinking about it from your lens, you're going to send them the deal. You're going to have your fingers crossed, hope they open it, hope they read it, and hope they give you the money that you're looking for. But if you're thinking about it from their lens, you're going to research them. You're going to see what type of real estate they invest in. You're going to see how much money they like to invest, where in the United States they like to invest, how long they hold the real estate. You're going to make a real effort in looking into what their needs are. So then think about if you go from it from that vantage point, and then you send a deal to them, and you've broken out the deal in an email in like 6 easy points that all touch on hot buttons for them. Hey, such and such, I have this deal in Georgia, and I know you really like this market. I saw that you did XYZ deal here. And, this is going to be a, 500,000 square foot industrial warehouse, just like the deal that you did across the street that was, 250,000 square feet. It's within your parameter in terms of deal size. It's a value add play in the sense that you develop it and then you sell it. So it's a short-term hold. Notice you like to do a lot of merchant build. That play versus just sending out, and I can't tell you how many times I've gotten just a random OM offering memorandum or a deal. It's just an attachment. I'm like, this is like a mobile park site. Like, we've never done mobile parks in our life. Mobile parks are amazing, but we've never done it. But if you think about the value that you can bring versus what you can get in any scenario, your productivity and your success will be 50 times over what it would be if you're just thinking for yourself.
Very full circle to where we started. The more you give, the more you get.
It's as simple as